What's up, Travel Tribe? Welcome back to Chatting with Travelinista, where we discuss all things travel. Today, we're going to be discussing plans that can turn a good trip into a great one. So number one, we're going to go with mapping out the difference between your lodging and the things that you want to do. And that includes where you want to eat at, that includes your activities, that includes any sightseeing that you're going to want to do. And this is really important because if you get to a destination and you start trying to plan all of those things while you're already where you're at, it's a very big chance that things are not within the same proximity. It's also important because even if things aren't in the same proximity, you're going to need to kind of arrange transportation. And then now you're at the point where you're spending a lot of times planning your travel while you're traveling instead of just enjoying your travel. So again, just make sure that before you get to the destination, to avoid stress, to avoid losing time, having a great time, you want to just map out where you're staying alongside the places that you want to travel to. Number two, probably the most important, or at least the most important to me, choosing the people that you want to travel with, choosing the right people that you want to travel with for the type of travel that you're doing. And so, for instance, if you know that you're going on an international trip, you don't want to necessarily invite people that have flight anxiety. You don't want to necessarily invite people that may be uncomfortable with different cultural norms, because it's definitely going to be a situation where you're going to end up spending time trying to kind of coddle them, and you're not going to be able to enjoy the trip if you're coddling somebody else. So, to avoid all of that, pick the right people. Another example of this is if you are trying to go on a luxurious vacation, you're not going to want to choose your friends that like to stay on a budget, because then you're going to have issues with, oh, I don't want to do this because it's going to cost too much money. And I don't like that. I was going to say nobody likes that, but I don't like that. So to avoid that, if you're going on a budget-friendly trip, choose people that are going to be budget friendly. If you're going on a trip that is luxurious, choose your friends that like to blow a bag. It's just that simple. Number three is important as well, and this is going to be packing appropriately for your chosen destination. So, prime example, we'll use when I went to South Africa. For one, usually I love to just pack a carry-on, because when you're going on certain trips and you take checked bags, let's just be clear, airports do have a tendency to lose luggage. And if you're going somewhere and you're ready to hit the streets as soon as you get there, you want to have all your materials with you. Even if you're not ready to hit the streets, you just don't want your stuff lost. So generally, I would say, just use a carry-on. However, going places internationally, you're not, well, maybe you can, but me personally, I like to have all things on deck. So I'm not able to just bring my carry-on. I had to bring an actual checked luggage. And so when you're bringing a checked luggage for international trips, you want to make sure you're checking the weather. So if it's somewhere cold, or you're going during a cold season, or you're going during rainy season, you want to make sure that you're packing coats and clothes. And if you're like me, you got to have a coat for different outfits, different color schemes, fly stuff. So if you're to fit all those things into one suitcase and a carry-on, especially if you're going for like 1 to 2 weeks, then you're going to have to kind of be strategic with your packing. So I would advise you to get things such as vacuum seal bags. So when I went to South Africa, I purchased vacuum seal bags so that I could pack like 3 to 4 coats and still fit my everyday wear, my everyday attire, and still fit my everyday shoes into that same suitcase, so that you're not bringing multiple suitcases. Number 4, you definitely want to check travel advisories when you are going to different countries or just traveling in general. Like, as of right now, I'm sure everybody knows that there's a travel advisory out in Jamaica. Don't be surprised that I will be going to Jamaica this month. But we'll talk about that in another video, because just because it's a travel advisory does not mean that you cannot go. But again, that's for another video. However, I do need to know that information so that when I am in Jamaica, I can avoid certain places, doing certain activities, going to certain areas, so that I can keep myself safe. Safety is paramount. I always tell people it's super safe to go anywhere, just as it's safe to be anywhere domestic. But the most important thing is that you're informed when you're going to these places, so that you can keep yourself as safe as possible. Number 5, I probably said everything was probably most important. So at this point, all of these are very important. Number 5 is going to be making sure that you're taking out cash before you leave the United States. Even if you are going to be traveling domestically, I still would encourage you to do like an ATM or some kind of bank withdrawal from your personal bank if you want to avoid fees, or just from a bank that's local that you know is actually a reputable ATM machine or a reputable bank. Because in addition to you accumulating fees, you just don't want to get to those different countries, stick your card into ATM machines, which a lot of times I heard they're duplicating card numbers. There's just certain kind of safety measures that you want to kind of be aware of and hopefully take so that you don't end up having any bank issues while you're out of the country. I mean, certain places let you use your card, but again, like I said, because there's so many scams and schemes going on, it would just, behoove you, if you want to be safe than sorry, to just take the cash out from a reputable place that you know about. There's also, situations where if you're in international countries and you go to like these little side of the road currency exchanges, they really will try to charge you astronomical fees or sometimes even rob you. Yeah, sorry to break the news. It's true. So just do what Travelinista does and get your cash ahead of time if you're not wanting to utilize your bank card. And the last one, which I find to be incredibly helpful, number 6, is downloading some type of global exchange app or, using it online. I would say download the app because sometimes internet can be a little shoddy and spotty in different countries or different places. And if you download this app, the point is to make sure that you at least have some kind of idea of what the exchange rates are so that you're not getting ripped off in these other countries. Because let's just face it, as much as I travel, I cannot memorize what the exchange rates are, what the different currencies are compared to the US dollar when I'm traveling to these places. So when you download a specific type of app as the one that I'm mentioning, it gives you a really good idea of how much money you're going to have to spend, when you're looking at the US dollar versus whatever type of currency they use. And then that way, when you go home, you kind of compare notes, you're looking at your bank statements, you can make sure that nobody tried to rip you off. And if they did, then you can get on the phone, give the people a call, get your coins back because you were prepared. All right, guys. So that's it. There you have it. Plans to make a good trip a great one. Plans that Travelinista personally uses to make my great trips excellent ones. I hope it helped you. I hope that you enjoyed it. If there's any tips that you would like to share with me that I may not have mentioned, feel free to let me know. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, follow on all platforms. That's Travelinista. Appreciate it.